I'm going to tell you what I like to see on the homepage for an affiliate site. Probably going to focus a little on Amazon affiliate sites, but in general, this should hold up for most kinds of sites. Now, I have a particular take that I'm going to tell you about, and hopefully, you'll agree. But even if you don't, I think you'll probably find some interesting points that I bring up that can help you, figure out your specific homepage like layout. And this is one of those videos. I'm going to get to it pretty quick. I'm going to try to ignore the chat. I'm going to just say hello really quick. I see Lance is on. Welcome, one of the kind moderators who's going to keep order while I ignore the chat and get to the point. Cool thing we're going to do today is I'm going to share my screen and we're going to look at some like real live sites. This is like a mini teardown in some ways, and then I'll sort of describe what I like to see on a homepage. Reese is on too, Sophie, Andrew, and I'll come back to the chat, answer questions. I will only answer questions today on the topic that we're talking about. So if you stray too far, I'll just defer it to Friday. I'll actually just tell you to ask on Friday, most likely. All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining in. And basically, I'm going to be talking about what I like to see on a homepage for an affiliate site. Now, there's a couple things that I want to point out, and this is kind of how we're going to go through it. My sort of approach is to have a site where eventually I'm going to network with other people. I'm going to try to meet people in the niche. I'm going to try and meet people that may be interested in my site to guest post on their site, and maybe vice versa, right? If we become internet friends, maybe we can, post on each other's site. The point is, I don't want my prospects that maybe I'm networking with to go to my site and think, well, this site kind of sucks and I don't want to be associated with it. Additionally, if you have like a site that's getting bigger and brands are reaching out to you and asking you to basically feature stuff on your site, or they're basically trying to connect with you, if your homepage looks crappy, they're probably not going to want to work with you. So if your homepage looks good, it goes a long way to, I guess, provide credibility for yourself, right? So that's number one for your site, and then the brand in general, and then, for their site as well, because if they're going to do anything with you, then they're probably going to, want to have anyone they're associated with be on the up and up. So that's sort of the approach. Now, it's very easy to point out some of the bad stuff on a site so that we can see what not to do. So that's where we're going to start. I'm going to attempt to share my screen here. This is a site that I have actually reviewed before. So if you go to my, main YouTube channel page and you look for car seat answers, you could find teardowns. By the way, if you're interested in seeing more teardowns, there's probably like 20 of them or so. There's a couple playlists. Some of them are a little long-winded. Some of them are a little more concise, like under 5 minutes or so. But if you want to see more teardowns, just go search on my channel. There's a few playlists. You get a lot of good insights for that stuff. By the way, I know a lot of people are in the chat, and thanks for joining up. I'm going to come back over to the chat shortly, and basically I'm going to try and get through the content first and then speak to everyone live. Thanks for joining up though. So as I mentioned, a really good way to see and illustrate why I want to have my homepage designed in a certain way is if you look at a terrible homepage. So this is Car Seat Answers, and I don't know if it makes any money anymore. I have no clue, but what you'll notice is the homepage it looks okay when you just see the first part here, right? So this portion above the fold looks fine. As you scroll down, what you see starts to look a little worse. So they're just asking questions. This is actually a good FAQ method, by the way. If you're unfamiliar, this is a good way to approach it. But the thing that they do is they end up putting their affiliate content right here on the homepage. And that comes off a little pushy. So, one of the things they do is they put affiliate links all throughout here, and they actually put them kind of low, but that is another story for another day. In fact, tomorrow I'm doing a free workshop on how to improve your conversion rate for your site. I'm going to go over 17 different ways. There's a link in the description. If you're interested in attending, it's free. There's no pitch. You can't buy anything, but I just go over 17 different ways to improve conversion rates. And one of the things that they do here, if you're going to put affiliate content on your homepage, you may as well put one of those affiliate links up near the top. I mean, you have to scroll like almost 75% of the way down to get to their first affiliate link. But this is the thing, right? They basically just have an affiliate piece of content on the homepage. And coming back to, what I mentioned before, like if we're thinking at the end of the day, we want to network within our niche. We want to, have people come to our site and think, hey, I want to reach out and connect with them. This is not the homepage that is going to do that. Someone's going to think, oh, this is just an affiliate site. There's no personality behind it. It's really kind of crappy. So this is what you do not want to do. And further, right? I'm going to hop back on the big screen here. Further, the practice when I first got started in 2013 with affiliate marketing was on your homepage to put your biggest affiliate article that you have. The logic was most of your backlinks are going to be going to your homepage, and you want whatever has the most backlinks to like be your most profitable, monetizable piece of content. So you put the biggest piece of content on your homepage because it would probably get most of the backlinks. That was the logic. And a lot of people did that. In fact, a lot of people still have those on their sites that particularly if you buy a done for you site, if you bought it during a certain period, a lot of the done for you sites were created with affiliate content on the homepage, again, which is a bad idea. It comes off like poorly. So aside from what the other people in the niche may think, even if you don't want to do guest posting, even if you don't care about the networking part, if Amazon, goes to your site and if they see like mainly affiliate content on the homepage and then a ton of other affiliate articles, they're probably not going to like that. They'll say there's too much advertising material. It's rare when sites get audited, but it does happen. Further, if you do have a lot of affiliate content all over your site, Google doesn't really like that either. So I don't know what the threshold is. I have no idea. I haven't gotten close to the threshold to my knowledge, but Amazon can say too much advertising material. They want to have a little bit more like blog content. And then Google may say it's thin content, which even if your content is very long and thorough, if it's all affiliate content, you may hear something about thin content. Now, I know there are exceptions to the rule, sites like the Wirecutter or similar, and they have almost all affiliate content, but it's so well written that I don't think they will have a problem with Google and thin content. So that said, having your homepage with either short form like car seat answers or long form affiliate content is generally not a good thing to do. So what do we want to see? And by the way, thanks everyone for joining. If you have the opportunity to click the like button, if this is helpful for you, I'd appreciate it. And I'm going to start sharing my screen again so we can look at one of the better examples out there. If you are just joining, I'm going to come to the chat in a second, but I'm going to finish the material first. So this is Outdoor Gear Lab. This is a pretty big site, and they actually have a little bit more than what I would prefer, but I'll tell you some of the parts that I like. And, when you look at the number of pages that Outdoor Gear Lab has, it's staggering. I'm not even sure how many pages are indexed, but hundreds or thousands of pages are probably indexed. I think they have some sort of a custom CMS that they're running here. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff on this homepage because the site's so big. It's pretty old. I think it's, going on 8-10 years old, something like that. So couple quick things. So they have a simple logo. They have a search bar up here. They have a little section to sort of, log in or join if you want to, another search section here, and a fairly simple menu, right? They don't go too deep. They don't have tons of layers in here, but they have, just the main topics here. Further, they're just sort of it's sort of a magazine type layout. They have some of the stuff that was recently published, and I think this is good. Something like this is great. Now, the other part is they have, and this like I guess above the fold region here is great. And then they have a couple like categories. So camping and backpacking, cycling, shoes and boots. So they sort of have links to their bigger guides and bigger categories, which if you went to them, it would, go to another similar kind of layout where they have some of the popular stuff and then they break it down a little bit more. Again, sort of like a magazine style layout. So this is good. And what I would really like is just this top part. So you have the main section with a recent post, and then you have the sort of 3 sections here to bigger categories, or maybe this goes to the buying guide for mountain bikes, something like that. Either one of those would be fine. Now, where they sort of lose me is where they have so many categories to get to. They have so much on their site that they actually can, I guess, delineate all these different categories and it'll be okay. I mean, and they go to the point of, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's like 8 different bike sections, or maybe even 10 if you go into the biking shorts and bibs and shoes and all that. So the point is, most people's sites are not going to be that big. So you don't have to have all of this. This is a very mature example that we're looking at. So further, this best in class reviews. So this, best in class reviews sections these are sort of like their popular articles, and it could easily replace these categories for camping, backpacking, biking, and the shoes and boots. So I would probably have either or. Again, because the site's so big, they have the enough content to put all this out here. So as we scroll down, this is where I'm thinking, hey, they're giving you too many choices in a lot of ways. So I would probably only have, these best in class reviews and probably skip the product review section altogether. The how-to articles are cool. I would maybe put those up a little bit higher. But in a lot of ways, they do a great job. There's a lot of clean white space here, even though there's a lot of choices to make. It's not overwhelming, and they give you fewer choices at the top. So if you land on this page, you got 5 or 6 things you can navigate to from here. Now, as we look a little bit deeper, I would say less is more, and keeping it simple is better. So it doesn't really matter if your theme like supports this specifically. You don't have to lay it out in this fashion. You could just put it on a page with no sidebars and just list it out with text and a little image, a banner, or something like that maybe you create on Canva for free. And the last thing I'll point out is, they have a footer section here, disclaimers, sign up for the newsletter, just normal stuff down here. All that's fine. You have a lot of leeway. If you do have, an Amazon affiliate site, it's, good to put your disclosure on the homepage. Really on every page is the best way to do it. So this is a great example of, a mature site that they've put, a lot of stuff on here, more than I like to have, but obviously they know what they're doing. Further, they have so much material that they're able to like put links in all these different categories. And it's a good way that they're able to basically have links going all over their site in a very, simple way. Now, the last one that I'm going to look at, and then I will come over to the chat. Feel free to ask questions. However, if it's not about homepage topics, then I'll probably just defer it to Friday, ask you to, ask again on Friday or leave a comment, something like that. Okay. So podcast insights. Again, this is one that I've reviewed before in the Tuesday teardowns or some other thing like that. So this is a little bit of a different site. So they're not just selling or they're not just reviewing affiliate products. They're telling you how to podcast. There's a lot of, I was actually looking at this site the other day to look up podcast editing services. So they have a lot of like helpful information. So number one, they have sort of a hero image situation here. And, in a very smart way, they have a microphone here since it's podcasting and you got to use a microphone. So this link here goes to front, I guess an anchor link here. And I won't click on it. I'll just scroll down. So this is sort of set up in a totally different format because they have many different goals that they're trying to do. So depending on the site that you're trying to create, you may want to take bits and pieces of this, but overall, they are trying to, get people on their email list because they'll be able to, market in a deeper way. They also have a podcast, I believe. I can't remember 100%, but they have multiple things that they want to offer to you and educate you so that, potentially you are using their services, you're using their various affiliate programs and buying products through their links just in general. So they have a lot of goals and it's more of a well-rounded site, not just focused on Amazon affiliate products. The email list is probably one of their number one goals. All right. So first they have a podcast mic guide and, basically again, they want you to sign up for the email list here. So, all right, so they have the disclaimer and all the normal stuff. So they have an opt-in pretty early. And if you scroll down, you're able to see where they're featured on. So that's creating social proof. And they've been featured on a lot of different sites, very reputable sites as well. As we scroll down, you can, get to the different guides basically. So as I mentioned before, you have guides here on how to start a podcast and then how to monetize. They have links to their different posts and stuff. I guess like the more recent post with a snippet that's available here. So all this is very helpful. And as we get down to the bottom, that's it. They have the footer area. So overall, like they're serving some of the same like purposes, right? To show the recent posts. One of their main goals is to, get people on the email list. So that is, further up than anything else. And then they want to point people towards like the relevant guide depending on what you need. Now, the fact is probably the beginner and intermediate guides do have some affiliate links and other like beneficial things for the owners of the site, but it also points you in the right direction. So you're having a more positive user experience overall. So quick recap, I'm going to come back on the full screen here. So quick recap. I don't like to have too much on the homepage. I like it to be fairly simple. I generally want to point people towards the bigger, more impressive user guides, the places that I want people to land on the site, and then a few of the recent posts. I usually do, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, not too many, right? What I don't want is like an endless scroll situation where you just keep going down. It doesn't really serve a purpose. It may not be like a terrible thing. Like there's probably nothing bad that'll happen because of it. But from a user experience, it's just like, why do we have the endless scroll? If people didn't see what they were looking for and it's just showing the same ones over and over again, the same 20 over and over again, there's no real point to do that. Probably the worst thing you could do is put affiliate content on your homepage primarily. That would be, it kind of puts off the wrong vibe just in general. The one thing that the sites didn't do specifically that I think is a great thing to do for Amazon affiliate sites is to just put like a small about you section. So maybe you have an image and then, 1 to 5 sentences maybe even directly from your about page, and then just to provide a little introduction, and it makes it seem like more personal and makes you seem more approachable and authentic in the things that we want to do if we do actually want to network with other people in the niche. So that is sort of the high level. In a lot of ways, the homepage doesn't matter as much as some people may think. At the same time, if you put something like pure affiliate content on there, again, it could sort of put off the wrong vibe, and be a like a bad thing to do. So as long as you have a simple something clean, you're probably all right. Okay, let's go over to the chat and see what's going on. By the way, if you're joining late or anything, or if you just didn't pay attention earlier, I'm doing a free workshop tomorrow on improving your conversion rate. So if your site's new or even if it's established, you should probably check it out. It's not going to be on YouTube in the near term. It's free to attend. There's no pitch. You can't buy anything, but you do have to sign up for the links. All right. Alex is on. We have Andrew, Adrian, Rose, Derek. How's it going? Ravindra, David, Nick's on. And Nick, I was just sending your interview over to the editor this morning. Team is on. Jordan, Dan, Mads, Shannon, and Sindana. So a couple questions I saw came through. David says, how do you structure your sites to let the link juice flow? Basically, interlink your post all over the place, and then it will work just fine. So I would recommend a lot of links, and I'm letting this question slide because it actually fits in with the homepage idea. So if you can, get some links out to some of your, your bigger posts, and then within those posts you link out to your other pages, and then those pages and post URLs, whatever, link back to others. That's usually a fine way to do it. All right. Jordan says, thanks for the work. You're welcome. Dan's from Washington. Awesome. And then Mads from Denmark. Very cool. Okay, Shannon says, maybe the reverse funnel of specific topics to more general at the bottom keeps people on the site longer. I don't know. I think it may just be sort of a design choice, right? Depending on whichever site we were looking at. Like Outdoor Gear Lab had like specific recent posts. So those were indeed specific. And then they had the more general stuff further down. But I mean, most of the time, like, I don't think people will necessarily be on the homepage for a long amount of time. You could be right, but in general, I think the only way to know if your design and or your changes are keeping people on the site longer is if you do A/B testing or some sort of like deep analysis, which in my opinion is not really worthwhile for what we're talking about. Benji's dad is on. What's up? BC Mounts, been a while since you've been on. Good to see you. Reza says, what price range do you recommend? Okay, so just quick reminder, if your question isn't about homepage design, I'll probably just give a very short answer. So homepage design questions. And if you have other questions that are just not related to what we're talking about today, save it for Friday. That's the general Q&A. Reza says, what price range do you recommend? About $100. All right. David says, do I use silos for more relevance? No. Ravindra says, does frequent changes in content categories, theme, features, CMS carry a risk from an SEO perspective? The benefits of making rapid changes are obvious from a product improvement perspective. Ravindra, if you are like using a well optimized theme and CMS for SEO, it shouldn't really have an impact to your SEO. However, I would say the cost associated with making frequent changes and that sort of stuff is really a waste of time. So the issue isn't what, from the SEO perspective, it's from the sunk cost that you're, or not the sunk cost, but the, what word am I looking for? It is the opportunity cost of you wasting time making changes that don't really do anything. So if you change your theme all the time, or you're changing categories, or you're changing your homepage all the time, you're probably not using your time well. Now, that's not to say if you went from WordPress to Squarespace, you may lose rankings because, there's not a direct equivalent, to my knowledge, for like WordPress to Squarespace. You'd have to do other setup. Again, not a good use of your time. You could make it, and probably, I've never used Squarespace, but you could make it like identical, from an SEO perspective. But at the end of the day, you've wasted a ton of your time. David says, what do I prefer, categories in posts or only pages? Okay. So I think, couple things. I usually just do, I do all of those things. So basically there's a flaw in your question. If you're asking me, do I only do categories and posts, or do I only do pages? And you're making me choose between those two, I would say probably categories and or post. But again, I don't limit I use all of those when it's appropriate. So if that makes sense. And you can too, right? You don't have to just pick one or the other. That's not, how it works. So you could do all of them and it'll be fine. And by the way, I do, sorry for the people, especially if you're just joining. I normally answer all questions all the time, but today I'm just talking about home pages, and I'm apparently in a focused mood where I only want to talk about home pages today. And I do a general Q&A on Fridays, and basically I'll just answer the same questions over and over and over again. And even in the same session, although usually when the same questions come, 2 to 3 times, that is a signal to end the live stream. However, per several recommendations in the past, plus what I've wanted to do, I'm working on a FAQ section on Niche Site Project. So when someone asks, hey, like Riza asked, what price range do you recommend? I've answered that one like 30 times or so. So I will put questions like that in the FAQ section. So when someone asks a common question, no offense, Riza, it's a fine question. But basically I could just say, hey, check out the FAQ section. There's like 30, questions that I already have in the list, that I'll just be able to refer people to. All right. BC Mount says, do I experiment with a static homepage, landing with a list of recent posts below? You know what? I usually just set something up, and then if it works well enough, if it's good enough, then I just move forward. So I actually don't experiment with like different homepage. So you're saying a static homepage with a list of recent posts. I think that's basically what I end up doing. And then I'll have like a couple links for like relevant guides. Okay. And Riza, no worries. Only talking about homepage design, or, potentially like closely related things like, site architecture kind of stuff, which I don't do. So that's an easy one to answer. So, yep. And Riza, yeah, no problem. Normally I do just put up with, if people ask the same questions, and people ask random questions that are totally 100% unrelated to what we're talking about, I usually do it. But like I said, for whatever reason, I'm pretty focused today. So I just want to talk about home pages. And by the way, this topic was recommended by Lorraine, one of the frequent live stream chatters and that sort of thing. Okay, Riza says, what's my take on showing a persona on the homepage? Okay, I'm for it. And I literally, sorry, Riza, I feel like maybe we're we're on different wavelengths today, so I apologize. I think I just said to put a home like on the homepage to put an about snippet on there, right? Did I say that, everyone? Let me know, or if I'm having a stroke. So yes, I think that's a good thing to do. Um, Music Crunch says, what advantage does the homepage post have over a blog setting? So basically, you kind of have more control over it if you set it up in a particular way, and you could provide like more relevant information. So if someone lands on your homepage, you kind of want to tell them what your site's about, um, and give them an idea of what you're doing, like overall. If you just have the most recent blogs listed, I think that's what you're saying. That's sort of how blogs were set up back in the day when people first started blogging, because it was more of like an online journal. Because websites have shifted so much, the homepage design is desired for sure. Okay. Um, okay. Johnson says, how many words should you put on your homepage? It's totally up to you. It doesn't really matter all that much. Probably if you can get, 150 words to 200 words at a minimum, just with the various stuff that we've talked about so far, that's probably cool. If you have the opportunity to write a little bit more, maybe that's better. You may be able to like rank a little bit better. If there happens to be a keyword in your name, that's not necessary, but a keyword in your domain name or in your brand name. But yeah, really, the number of words isn't too important. Okay. And Riza, again, no worries. Just I feel like sometimes it's difficult to do this sometimes. So yeah, if you put a snippet of the about page, something personal on the homepage, that's great. That's a good idea. BC Mount says, having the static element on top of the list of recent posts adds a lot of unique words to the homepage. BC, that is great. That was in the back of my mind, but that is exactly what you like. That's a great point. Like you can have more unique words on the homepage. What you don't want to happen is like all of a sudden your homepage is ranking for a keyword because the blog post was listed on the homepage. Like, and then it shifts off of the homepage. Like, you don't want that to happen. David says, how many internal links should be on the homepage? There's no set answer for that. Whatever you want. So there's no answer. Some people may have like some theories on it, but there's a lot of factors out there. So if I told you, hey, you need to have 45 links on your homepage, you may only have 10 posts on your whole site and like 15 pages total. So that'll be pretty hard for you to do 45. So there's no like set number of internal links. And I would think of it from a standpoint of like helping people navigate your site like effectively, right? So if you think about it that way, knowing, the other part is a lot of people are not going to land on your homepage. They're going to land on a specific page that they're searching for information. And only the people that are really interested are going to end up on your homepage. So keep that in mind. And let's see, another quick announcement I forgot. I will be going live with Alex from WP Eagle later on today, 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So that's in an hour and 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours, yeah. So he and I will be chatting about something. I don't know what. And I did announce just on my channel the winner of the Keyword Golden Ratio contest. It was a person named Wesley, but not the Wesley that I interviewed. There was some confusion about that. But another Wesley who entered, and he'll be speaking with Alex and I in a 30-minute coaching call. So whatever, Wesley needs help on, and he had to do various activities to be entered, and he had several entries. One of the higher number of entries based on his participation in the contest. So pretty cool. And if you haven't checked out the Keyword Golden Ratio Masterclass, it's a full playlist, tons of information. It's well over I think an hour and a half of content. So check that out. All right. Any other questions on homepage design or closely related topics? And just a quick reminder, if you enjoy the video and this is helpful, please click the thumbs up. It looks like we just have a handful here, which is fine, but hopefully this will be a topic that will live on and be a little helpful. All right. And Poog, we'll just call him PP, is asking about how to get out of the Google Sandbox fast. All right. So my tip is for you to start a site as soon as possible and then publish content and then get backlinks to it. And then in 6 months, you'll be out of the sandbox. So the sooner you start, the sooner you're out of the sandbox. And if you do those activities of publishing content and getting backlinks, there's potential that you will get out of the sandbox sooner. But the answer is to get past 6 months. Ravindra says, if one is choosing a multi-topic broad niche, it seems crucial to evolve content categories over time as opposed to freezing them early on. Does that carry SEO risk? So you're saying is it seems crucial to evolve content categories over time. Yeah, I would say your question has a lot of built-in context. So I'm going to try and answer, but I would say from an SEO perspective, don't worry so much. Things will be okay. The other part is you basically don't want to like paint yourself in a corner. So whatever you do, don't brand yourself too narrowly. And then further, when you are thinking about content categories, yeah, sure, evolving is the right way to do it. And the reason why I mentioned, don't make your brand too narrow is if it's too narrow, then you'll have a hard time adding a category and have it fit into your brand. So if you keep it broad at the beginning, you can evolve. And yes, I say just in general, give yourself options. So freezing your options out and like singling, or I guess eliminating them at the beginning by making decisions that don't allow you to be flexible is a bad idea. As far as that carrying an SEO risk, I don't know. But if you give yourself the ability to be flexible, you'll be better off. All right. Crunch says, and Ravindra, hopefully that answers your question. I'm not sure if I missed your point. I could have completely missed your point. Ravindra says, to follow up on a previous, sorry. Just read that one. Crunch says, is it important to have your main keyword as the homepage? No, it's actually important to not have your main keyword on your homepage. It is the opposite. So that is kind of the idea I was getting at before. You don't want to have affiliate content on your homepage. So it's important to not do that. All right. So it's important not to have your main keyword on the homepage unless your main keyword on your homepage is the name of your brand, and then that would be okay. Insane. Hey, what's up? Yep, you're a little late, but just rewind it. You can watch it from the beginning. David says, do I have a favorite theme with a nice homepage design? No. In general, no. I just try and, pick themes where the theme stays out of the way. There may be a time later on in the year where I review several themes. It is a very common question, and I could probably make a lot of affiliate commissions if I just recommend themes that have a good payout. But you'll notice I usually don't do that sort of thing because I like to talk freely about what I think. And it turns out theme doesn't really matter that much. And I don't know. Some people throw out like X theme and Rehub. They enjoy them a lot. I find that the more options a theme has, the less I like it. It's just very confusing to set all that stuff up. Jim is mentioning Studio Press. Yep, and you know what? I've never used Studio Press in Genesis, but from what I've seen from my some of my friends who do use Genesis, they really like it, and I like the way their sites look. In general, if you pick one of like I said, X theme, Rehub, Jim is mentioning Studio Press Genesis based themes. Most of the time, like any of those are fine. They have lots of options, but usually you can set them up in a simple way. You can typically set them up in a simple way with all the bells and whistles, and then you'll be fine to have the sort of a layout that I described. All right. Any other questions? And don't forget, got the free workshop tomorrow on improving conversion rates for affiliate sites. It's a focus on Amazon affiliate sites. I do go into specific sites and show you examples. So I'll make a point and then I'll show you an example on a live site of how that might look. And I've sort of studied the concepts of conversions and looked at the best practices and then sort of consolidated the list. And there's 17 of them that I will go over. Even if you get most of them right already, and you're already doing them, you'll probably find one or two where maybe you can test it out. Let's see. David says, "Do you use a sidebar for your homepage?" Me personally, sometimes, but typically no. And generally, I would say like on the homepage, you're probably not going to have a sidebar, but it kind of does depend on the theme that you use. So, okay, I think Pugalia maybe missed the point earlier. I'm only answering questions about homepage design. So if you have other questions like the ones that you've been asking, you should come back for Friday, which is the general Q&A. The reason why I'm doing this is not to be a jerk, although it may come off that way, and I'm sorry. But basically, if you ask questions that are unrelated to the topic, no one else will be able to find these questions. But the random Q&A on Friday, people just ask whatever, and it's a grab bag of random questions. But if your question is unrelated to homepage design, then it's just out of place in the content. So I go back and forth on this. Today, I'm holding my ground, I guess. All right. Rose says a lot of people love Divi as well. Yep, I've heard a lot about that. Riza says, "What do I think is the best width for the text in the homepage?" Most homepages use wider text. Okay. But the studies say that too wide is not readable. So I don't have an opinion on that. I'm not a designer. I don't know typography very well, typography very well. And I would say it probably doesn't matter that much. I think probably if you look at it and you think, hey, that looks fine, maybe ask a couple of friends, do you think this looks okay? And if they all say they think it looks okay and it's readable, that's probably fine. As far as the studies, like you're probably not going to get a huge benefit if you change things. Most people are not going to notice, and it probably doesn't matter. So, as I mentioned before, usually if I could just get something good enough, I will just move on to something else. So, as far as the best width of the text, I have no idea. No clue. And Pugalia, no worries. I think, maybe you joined late. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Subhim says, should display our post on the homepage or make a static page with content linked to other articles? Okay. Subham, did you just join just now? If so, I recommend rewind, and then that will answer some of the questions. But either one is actually um, fine. Although there's a lot of context that is missing, I believe, from your question. And I think if there are any other questions, I'll wait for about another minute or so here. If not, be sure to check out the next live stream. I'm going to be with Alex at WP Eagle. We're going to chat about something. Hopefully, it's something that I know about. Do not know the topic today, but we will be chatting. That'll be on the WP Eagle channel. So be sure, if you're not subscribed, go subscribe to his channel. And I think it should be scheduled at this point in time. And again, any other questions, and if they're related, and if I haven't answered them already, I'll answer them. If you're joining late, do rewind, watch the beginning. I show you 3 different sites. One of them is not very good. It's an example of what not to do. 2 of them are good, very different approaches, different goals, and it'll sort of give you some ideas about how to approach your homepage and what to put on there. In a lot of ways, you just want the homepage to like give people an idea about what your site is all about, and then give them a couple places to go. Some of your, put links to some of your best material. If you happen to be building an email list for whatever reason, which it could be a good thing to do depending on where your site is at in its life cycle, you may have like a nice opt-in area to get people on your email list, and you could further market with them later. All right, Jordan says, what are my thoughts on affiliate banners on the home page? In general, you have to look at, well, you know what, I'll just answer straight up. I don't have any affiliate banners on my site at all. Not just on the homepage, but I just don't find that I like them. So I just don't put them up. However, a lot of people do, and that's fine. As far as putting affiliate banners on the homepage, if you want to, give it a shot and test it out, that could be a viable like option. From the standpoint of, having other bloggers in the niche, people you're trying to network with, go to your site, and if they see a banner, an affiliate banner on your homepage, like sign up for Amazon Prime or something like that, that is probably okay. That's actually pretty common. This is a great question, by the way. It's pretty common, if you go to blogs that are like monetized with ads in general, you will see ads and other affiliate offers on not only on the homepage. In fact, if you think about like the survival and prepper niche, you may see a lot of ads on those kind of sites because there's a lot of different, there's info products, there's physical products, there's mail order companies that are out there. And basically, if you have a couple banners, it won't be the worst thing in the world. However, like I said, that long form affiliate content, for whatever reason, that is not as common. So, for example, if you do go look at some of the survival blogs out there, their homepage will have like banners on each side, different affiliate offers on each side, and maybe some of their own products that they offer. They'll have potentially menu bar, and then like some recent post. So it's common to see that sort of thing in certain categories and niches that are out there. So if you fit in with whatever the greater like niche is doing, that's probably okay. So good question. All right. And Jordan says specifically it would be for signing up for a streaming service. Yeah, that would probably be fine. Again, some niches have like that, have those banners on like all their pages, and some on the homepage as well. So cool. All right, good session. I'll be back in a bit. Thanks everybody for joining up, and be sure to come on Friday for the general Q&A. Bring your general questions then. All right. See ya, and we'll catch you next time. I will be live later today, 1 o'clock WP Eagle, and then doing a live stream tomorrow. Not a live stream, a workshop. You'll have to sign up. Links in the description. Thanks.